Andrew gets in over on YouTube and says, I know that we're very deep on the defensive line this year, but who do you guys think can crack that rotation? Just to kind of give you a rundown of the chart that I have, and it's available over on on my Twitter account at the Morgan T Show. Obviously, you got XT returning, KJ Henry, Justin Maskell, Greg Williams, Kevin Swint's been talked about a bunch, Miles Murphy, Denhoff and Patterson are starting to get in the mix and being talked about again too, or now finally for the first time because they didn't get any reps at all. So your two red shirt freshmen from last year didn't get any reps at all, but they're getting talked about a ton. Dabo mentioned that there's too much talent on the defensive ends. They got to have a healthy rotation. That's great for these guys that are seniors that are getting ready to go to the NFL because they're going to be fresher than if they had to be relied on for every single down all season go into the combine, right? They're going to be rotated in a healthy rotation. And really, to me, when you look at rotating XT with, say, Greg Williams or Kevin Swint or even a Patterson maybe gets thrown in there, then you rotate your Henrys with Murphy and Maskell, and against Williams or Swint, depending on where they fall in. I think, you're going to have a really, really nice rotation there. So I think you're going to have a healthy rotation when it comes to defensive ends. Mm-hmm. For me, for defensive tackles, I mean, I think you got to do the same as well. You've got obviously Tyler Davis and Brian Bresee. Mm-hmm. You got Aurora, who just showed out last year. So, I mean, player of the year on defense, I think. I mean, one of the player of the year. I probably give it to Trenton Simpson just about how dominating he was and how, uncertain I was about him and my negativity there. But I think that, Aurora, Bresee, Davis, ET's getting, Intenosa, Ruben, they call him kind of ET, even though it's ER. But, those guys are doing great. And then Al, we've been talking about Page, Williams, Capehart for we've done recruiting videos on them. And it's just like, man, when is their time? So to Andrew's point, everybody can crack the rotation. I think that they want to be a rotational defensive line because, to be honest with you, there's a limited fall off there and it's going to be nasty. I mean, you're not going to be getting many easy yards on this defensive line.
No, totally agree. I think you're right on with the ends. And as far as the ends goes, obviously, Murphy, Henry, and Thomas are your guys. I think that's pretty obvious. It's who's that fourth guy? Is it Swint? Is it Williams? Which I would imagine it's probably going to be one of those at end. I want to see more Patterson. That's what I want to see. I don't care that Patterson may not be the best player right now. Swint is probably ahead. Williams is probably ahead. And maybe even Denhoff's ahead for all I know. That's fine, but I think Patterson is one of your DNs of the future if he lives up to his potential. So I want to see him get in there and get some game reps for going into next season. The defensive tackle rotation is unbelievable. As you mentioned, your 1 and 2, obviously, Davis and Bresee. And your 2s, in my opinion, are Rororo, and I would put Williams as that other number 2. They're going to say Ruben is as well, but I think as far as upside and talent is concerned, Williams is that guy. So, I mean, they've just got an unbelievable amount of options, and it's going to be great. We just got to get those. We got to get those guys, back down the lineup a little bit to get in there so we can be ready because we're going to lose a ton of talent after this season.
Houston, John gets in and says, having a fresh Davis and Bresee in fourth quarters will be a huge advantage. Rotate every game.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think rotation on defense is going to be fine. I think, if you're Wes Goodwin, you're looking at some unproven talent, but that could be spectacular in the secondary. Some proven, unbelievable, deep talent in the defensive line. And then however you finagle your linebacking core, whether it's Simpson and Barrett or whoever moves to the middle, or maybe you play Jeremiah Trotter or Keith McGuire or Vontae Bentley, you have an athletic linebacking core. So for me, I look at him and I'm like, man, he's got I won't say easy job, but like to be able to know that you've got a solid lineup that you're going to trot out there every week. I mean, that helps you in your game planning going forward. And especially on the recruiting trail where you're trying to prove yourself a little bit more. So like, I think he's going to be great. I'm excited. The rotation on defense, I'm fine with. I'll say different for offense. Keep whoever's the hot hand on offense, but for defense, keep those bodies going.
When you enjoy your job, it's easy. That's what I tell Alan. Just because I make my job look easy, it's because I enjoy my job. That's the key behind it all. And if you're Wes Goodwin, I mean, what not to enjoy about being the defensive coordinator for Clemson, especially with the front seven and the secondary that's coming in this year. I mean,